Hello and welcome back to Modded Minecraft All the Mods 9 Enchant the World. Last episode we built lasting integrity and we got some things set up in here. We have our enchanting apparatus set up and I've moved some of the things we're going to want on this floor up to here. For example, the scribe's table over here, a repository in the middle, and the crafting bench that helps us make threads for armor, the something table. And we also got some more imbuement chambers up here. We've got 12 now in total, and this is going to be much easier for us to get source gems and do all of our crafting up here. Pretty cool. This episode, what we're going to be focusing on is generating source and fueling every floor of this tower with that magical power source. But before then, I've built something pretty cool. We're going to need resources going forwards, and so it was essential that I tidied up our mystical agriculture setup and got that built. So let's check out the build. It's finally time to give ourselves a nice and presentable place to hold all of our mystical plants. The design for this is going to be very similar to how we cascaded the botany pots before. Don't be alarmed by all those rough dirt edges at the back, by the way. We'll be coming over after the build is finished to tidy that roughness up. The materials we've used are simple ones. We've stuck with stone brick, polished diorite, and birch. That's going to mean we can use up the extras we created for lasting integrity. I designed this blueprint as a U-shape. The sides and back are for the plants, and the middle is where we'll park our mystical altar. Perfectly positioned for us to zip over and craft the seeds and things we need. There's also a small building at the back. That's where we're going to be putting the storage for the essence we create. And we'll have to add pipes underneath to transport that essence to some big old chests. Now to add a touch of flair and decoration, we've gone for green shingles to cover the plants. And on top of the shrine in the center, we got a little bit decorative and added some polished diorite stairs. I'm thinking maybe of adding a bright crystal light in here once we have more materials to work with. And here's the before and after. We've added yellow and white botany hopper pots all around the edge on top of barrels. We've also built a basement in the middle there, so we have easy access to the underneath of the pots. It's going to make adding pipes a lot easier. Yeah, there it is, amazing. Oh man, from this window it looks absolutely fantastic. So let's take a closer look. Now there's a slight change between this version and the version that you can download as a blueprint and the one that you saw me build. How's it going, Louis Sake? So yeah, basically we've put all of the botany hopper pots over here, plus we crafted some more using the extra terracotta that we have. I've gone for yellow and white because it's the terracotta I had lying around. Obviously, if you want to use different colors, you are more than welcome to. We've added barrels underneath here, and behind we have some more pipes set up to gather all of these seeds. Now you'll see over there, we've removed all of those botany hopper pots and brought them over here. Each one of these pots has a seed in. All of these on the left are stone seeds. On the right, we have quartz seeds. And this is getting us loads and loads of essence so we can do all of the building we want using these stones. We've also got gold seeds in these 9 hopper pots. And this is going to get us loads and loads and loads of gold essence. And we can be using this gold essence to make ourselves crazy amounts of gold. Just what we have now is going to make, let's see, crafting table on a stick. But yeah, almost, wow, holy crap. Over 4 stacks of gold now. In fact, boom, loads more gold. That's going to be great going forwards. Gold isn't the only essence we're going to need. We're going to have to get loads more seeds in these extra botany hopper pots to make sure we've got all the resources we need for all of the magic mods going forwards. But we're not going to be using mystical agriculture for everything. I want to diversify and use what the other mods have to offer, and that's why we're probably going to be going into Ars Nouveau for a monster farm rather than having things like blaze rods be grown in hopper pots. There's also the infusion setup in the middle here, and there was a pretty cool trick that I saw a comment mention, and that's that you could put a lever or a button here to craft everything, but a better move is what you can do is instead put a redstone torch underneath the infusion altar, and it always has a redstone signal. That means you don't have to faff about with buttons and levers to get your seeds being crafted. Amazing. Well, we're going to need some redstone for that, so let's go and grab a torch. So here we go, with a redstone torch underneath the infusion altar, it now permanently has a redstone signal. That's very cool. Put the birch back in place, and now you'd never know, and that's a much prettier way of hiding that ugly button rather than having it lie around. So the building looks pretty cool from the top side, and we've got this bench over here. Now, as you can see, because I've already put the pipes in, we've got a chest over there that's set to gather all of these seeds. Not the ones on the left, but these seeds, because these are the inferium seeds. And this is what we're going to need loads and loads and loads of if we're going to get the Master Infusion Crystal and some high-level crops. But also, a gold chest doesn't really cut it. This thing isn't full yet, but pretty soon it will be, unless we can give it a decently sized upgrade. What we're going to be doing is getting a stack upgrade from sophisticated storage, and we can go from tier 1, and we've got loads of iron and loads of gold now, so we can go all the way up to tier 3. Tier 4 we'll get once we have renewable diamonds, but that's a bit of a ways off. But let me show you the machinery of this. Let me take you into this basement that we've developed. Now, I might go back and update the blueprint to add this basement, but basically we're going to want to do things with the essence. It's a bit of a pain to always have to take the essence and craft it. Wouldn't it be cool if we had some auto crafters down here that could automatically craft the essence? But at the moment, yeah, the pipe comes along here, gathers all of the inferium, and puts it straight up there into that golden chest. Pretty cool. So, stack upgrades, let's do it. Now, yeah, we've removed all of these botany hopper pots. Yeah, the area is going to look much, much, much nicer. However, we couldn't quite remove these chests because these are already chock-a-block full of loads of inferium. This thing was running while the mage tower was being built and while the mystical agriculture setup was being built as well. So we've gathered loads of this stuff. I'll move that over when I can afford the backpack space. And to get to that point, we're going to need these stack upgrades. So we'll put them over here on the left, because I think it's kind of like an upgrade chain. You build one to build the next, and so on and so forth. Although you can go directly from a tier 1 to a tier 2 using iron. You can skip the copper phase. So we've got loads of iron. Let's do this. Upgrade base, which is just iron and planks. Oh man, yes, so easy. Now we're going to use oak logs, because why not? And a couple of these stacks are going to be required. There's the upgrade tier 1. There's the upgrade tier 2. And for gold, it's the same blocks of gold and ingots. So we'll make 2 of those. And bam, stack upgrade tier 3. Let's go over to that golden chest now and see what this looks like. So here we go, stack upgrade on the left. Now I wonder if we can double this up, if we can get 2 stack upgrades. But yeah, now that this is in effect, if we press the sort inventory button, oh my god, holy crap, that's insane. So now stacks go up to 512. That is absolutely ridiculous. That's crazy. This is going to be able to store all of the essence for 1,000 years. And it means we have the storage space now to move over all of the inferium from over on the compound. So I'll get to that right now. Now, on our way, you might notice we've got a few new dudes. Jadala Angle. And there was a guy over here, I forget his name. Louis Sarke. Where have you gone, Louis? Well, he's around, but also we've got Klaus Sarke, he didn't die, but a few of our colonists have unfortunately perished, including Spermanti Mahogany, oh, my friend. But yeah, look at this, we've had 5 deaths since yesterday, that's crazy. And the events section in the information log shows us exactly what's happened. Random nerd Nathanius spawned, and then he exploded with help. I guess that means from Creeper. Ripperoni and Pepperoni random nerd. Then Jessim Maximus spawned, great, but she was killed by a zombie. Kapulka Unit 69, what the hell? Spawned. Spermanti was slain by a wraith. And then Kapulka was shot by unknown. We don't know what shot Kapulka, but Unit 69 is now Unit Ripperoni. So Louis Sarke and Jadala have replaced them, and now we have to go over and replace our builder. Ugh. It's a nightmare, but like I said, people are going to be spawning in and out as colonists die, and it's going to happen a lot because this is modded Minecraft and there are all kinds of wacky monsters around. So Sklerbetha Lazarus has taken over as a builder, but she's got crap stats, so we're going to get somebody else instead. Yeah, Klaus Sarke, he's our longest surviving colony member, and the best stats for a builder. So what I'm going to do is get the essence moved over and clear up all of these chests. What I can then use these chests for is probably storage down the line. They're going to come in pretty handy, but also it's time to add the top of our tower. Basically, to generate source, which we're going to be doing this episode, we're going to need a garden to grow sourceberries, and that's why I've designed the top of this tower to facilitate that. So let's take a look. So here we are at the top of Lasting Integrity. Man, I will never get bored of this view. What an amazing vantage point to see the entire compound. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the build tool, and let me show you what we've built. This is going to be the design for the top of the tower. Now switch pack, my local pack, go to scans, and it is Lasting Roof. Here we go. Now to get this to actually fit, you kind of have to do a bit of creative wizardry, work out where things are going to go properly. And let me show you what this looks like from the top. Right, yeah, so here you go. This is going to come with some areas to put down some crops. These are going to be sourceberries, and we're going to get some magical creatures to help us farm up these sourceberries and turn that process into mana. It probably sounds a little bit confusing right now because you don't really know what I'm talking about when I say magical creatures. But the first step to getting source generation is going to be building this tower. The rooftop is using green shingles as well, so I'll grab some clay and some oak planks to make those shingles, but I think we've got pretty much everything we need. Now, a cool feature of the Minecolonies builder is when you put a lantern in a schematic, they don't need the actual lantern block. They'll put it down automatically without you crafting these things. So you can kind of cheese that and have designs with loads and loads of lanterns and not worry too much about torches. Oh no! Oh, I knew that was going to happen. Oh well, never mind. At least I died close. Oh man, what a rookie move. A rookie move indeed. But as you can see, the tower top is here, ready to rock. If I... Wait, hang on a sec. Is that the right position? That might not be the right position, you know. So here we go. Now, when placing this, it's kind of important to get it right, and it's a bit confusing as to how you should do that. The red block has to be underneath the top floor of the birch, and the window needs to make sure it's like lining up with the previous build. So this stair here needs to be overlapping with the stair that we're going to build. But this is the correct position, so we'll pull the trigger on this. The materials are very chill indeed. We've got loads of diorite, a few green brick shingles, nothing too crazy, nothing to write home about. So this should be a very simple build. Let's do it. Here we go, way up on the top of our mage tower. This is where we're going to be parking the gardens for our source generation setup. Now there's not a huge amount of room up here, so once our builder has finished digging out the previous floor, he's got to start adding some extra corners to the top here. We're going to need a lot more space than the floor had if we're going to get enough crops up here for source generation. So here we go, he's adding these platforms and these struts. This is going to give us plenty of space. Now, just like the mystical shrine, we've stuck with stone brick and diorite. It'd be crazy at this point to use other materials. We've also added some fences around the edge because, well, it's pretty high up here. And a fall from this height would be instant death. But surely nobody is dumb enough to fall off something this high, right? And again, because this is the top of the tower, it needs to look the part. So we've used some polished diorite pillars and some green shingles to build a simple yet stylish rooftop. So here's a flyby from a distance, and the tower looks pretty cool now from far away. And a swoop through the top window shows us that, well, we need to cover up that dirt for one. But now we have the perfect area for source generation. I can't wait to get our mage tower full of source energy. Right, yeah, so this area looks really amazing now. So the idea is, what we're going to do is we're going to put some sourceberry bushes on these dirt squares. Amazing. Then we're going to use the power of their growth to support the whole tower with source. Sounds amazing, can't wait to get started, but we do have a little bit of a shopping list. So time to gather the resources and get crafting. So we'll need gold, loads of gold. Time to grab the gold essence up from these chests. Delicious. We'll need some archwood logs because they're integral to most of the craft, so a couple of stacks of logs should be great. Good to go. And of course, most importantly, we're going to need loads and loads of sourceberries. And the last thing on our shopping list is going to be lapis. Now, this is a bit of a worry. So basically, you can use lapis to make source gems. Wait a minute, it's our old friend the dragonfly. Come here, you jerk. Harm ball. Yeah, boom, gotcha. So yeah, one of you guys said that why isn't your harm ball green? And you know what? You're absolutely right. Color picker, harm ball. Let's make this sucker green. That's more like it, yeah, because we're green wizards. So yeah, there are two ways to make source gems. You don't actually have to use lapis in these imbuement chambers to make the source gems. You can also use amethysts, as demonstrated here. And while it can be easier to find lapis early on, there are ways inside Ars Nouveau to actually craft amethyst shards or farm it. But that falls under the branch of magical creatures, so we will be coming back to that once we get things like Starbuncles, Drigmies, and Wixies. But for now, we're going to pray to God that this 19 lapis is going to carry us through to everything we need. So load up these jars, get ourselves loads and loads of gems. So what are the things we're going to need? Well, we're going to put them over here on the left, above all of these other things we have over there. Well, there's a number of ways you can generate source. We're going to try and use as many as we can. Probably not the alchemical one, because we're not going to make any potions. And source is like any other power system from any other tech mod. In fact, the closest relation to it is probably power from immersive engineering, except instead of wires going between relays, imagine magical beams. Yeah, sure. Whoa, we can also get spell turrets, so this could be a way to defend our compound as well. But let's start with the ones that we're going to be using this episode. We're going to be using source jars. Source jars are kind of like batteries. They're just like capacitors from other mods, so yeah, source is stored in these jars and then sent to wherever it wants to go. And we'll need mycelial. So mycelial is the one that eats food to make source, and then we'll need agronomic, which is a sourcelink that generates source from crops being grown nearby. Pretty cool. We're also going to need some arcane pedestals. Oh no, Klaus! Wait. Klaus Sake, Blood Magic 1. Blood Magic 1? Is there a... Oh no, we've got an evil wizard on the colony. Hang on a sec, I got the tools for this. What is this? Oh my god, it's a wizard raid! No, it's a necromancer! Oh no, the second one, Mini Vink! Not Mini Vink. What are we gonna do? You know what, sword time. There we go, we did it. Oh, but what the hell, killing him doesn't kill his summoned monsters. Harmball's great for range though, so we just pick him off with this. Man, yeah, we lost 2 colonists. And I also lost my train of thought, so where was I? Oh yeah, magical source generation. Now what we did get from that necromancer was a spell scroll. Look at this, spectral hammer, wow. And arcane essence. So Iron's spells and spellbooks is a very cool magic mod. Something we're going to check out, but it's not really got much in the way of machinery. You don't really need to set up a big building for it because all of it really takes place out in the world. You explore, you gather materials from enemy magical creatures, and then you use it to make armor and spells. There's nothing like multi-block structures or enchanting apparatus in that mod, but we'll dive into it after Ars Nouveau. So grab up these source gems, delicious stuff. Now we're going to need a lot of source stone, so I'll make a few of those. There we go, and I reckon, yeah, 24 will do us for now. So number 1, we're going to need a few source jars. You can never really make too many source jars. Oh my god, glass. How did I forget glass? So if you watch this far into the video, I want you to put in the comment section what your favourite spell from anything is. It can be a movie, a TV show, Dungeons and Dragons, a video game. Let me know what your favourite spell is. For me, my favourite spell is always going to be Time Stop from Dungeons and Dragons. Just the idea of being able to stop time sounds crazy. So we're looking for glass. So there we go, a stack of glass. That should be much better. Man, I didn't realise, I should have known that, yeah, jars obviously will need glass. So here we go, crafting table on a stick, a source jar. We'll need archwood slabs, which means we need to turn these into planks, and then into slabs. Boom, wow, loads of those, but you can never have too many slabs, not really. They're a very common crafting requirement, so source jars, boom, and we're going to need quite a few of these actually, I reckon. I mean, at least, like, probably at least 10. So a great place to start. Now we're also going to need some of the generators, so we're going to need agronomic sourcelinks. And as you can see, this is where it gets expensive. A couple of source gems, some gold, and some wheat. So again, I need some wheat. Ugh. In fact, while we're out here, what does mycelial need? I'm worried this is going to need a mushroom. Oh, it does. It needs mushroom stew. Okay. Oh, man. Where are we going to get mushroom stew from? So here we go. Agronomic source links. We've got the gold bars, we've got those source gems, and we'll go with one to start with because I'm not quite sure what the range on this thing is, but if you're ever unsure about anything, you can always check the spellbook. It has documentation here. It's basically got a wiki in the mod, and I love that when a mod has its own documentation. That's amazing. So source and agronomic. This will generate source from crops and trees within 15 blocks, and that's a pretty huge range. And it automatically outputs the source that it gathers into nearby jars within 5 blocks. And also, bone mealing crops will not grant source, so it's got to be all natural. And of course, we need a way to get source from a jar down through the tower. So yeah, the relay enables the transportation of source between source jars and other source relays. So it's all pretty complicated, but I think we can do everything we want to right now with just relays. And relays are not cheap. It's 1 source gem block and 6 gold ingots for every single relay. That's insanely expensive, and source gem blocks are not cheap to make. Look at this, we've only got enough for 1. That's crazy. So we're gonna need some more source gems. We're also gonna need some more lapis, because we are running out of this stuff pretty quickly. Like I've said, mystical agriculture is amazing, but I don't want to use it for everything. We could, in theory, use this to generate almost everything we need magically, but I don't want to do that. I want to use other mods to get other things. I want to use magical creatures like golems to get amethyst, because that's going to be the best way for us to get renewable source gems. So let's get these things we've crafted set up. The sourcelink, the jars, and the relay. Wait, we didn't make the relay, did we? So there we go, 2 relays. Now basically you can use the relays that you craft in the enchanting apparatus to make all of the variations. The collectors, the depositors, the splitters, and the warpers. But what is a warper? That sounds crazy. Oh man, wow, yeah, so it operates similar to a source relay, but can teleport source an endless distance. That's really good to know, and really powerful, but it's also very expensive. Look at this, popped chorus fruit, and ender pearls, or some kind of ender pearl variation. Okay, so here we are. Now, 15 blocks is quite a big range. If we put down a block in the middle here, sand for now, find the absolute center, and let's count this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So one of these agronomic source links in the middle should be able to collect from all of these fields. So we'll plonk it in the middle and give it a bit of a test run. Now it's going to have to deposit into a jar. And we're also going to have to send this source all the way through the tower. So let's send it right through the middle and dig a hole here. Perfect. Now before we put this down, what is the range on a source relay? That's a good question, something the documents should be able to show us. Aha, relays can only reach up to 30 blocks away, but 30 blocks is actually pretty far. But the question is, what is the wrench for this? Basically, all tech mods that use power and pipes and things use some kind of wrench, and Ars Nouveau is no different. We're going to need a Dominion wand. These are super useful as wrenches, but they also work on the magical creatures that we're going to be gathering as well, to tell them what to do as well. I guess that's why it's called a Dominion wand. So a stick, gold, and 2 source gems. We'll craft that in a second, but let's get these things down. So we're going to put the jar above the floor, I reckon, so here. And then on top of that, the agronomic source link. Boom, and this should send it automatically into this jar. Now let's go and make that Dominion wand. Oh man, so many stairs. Living in this mage tower, I could totally skip leg day every day. There we go. Oh yeah, this is the juice. Now what we're actually going to want is basically a source jar on every single floor that we can then send the power out of to the machines that are going on that floor. So we're going to move this source jar right here. There we go, thank you very much. And we're going to have this kind of floating in the middle of this room. We'll work out what we're going to do decoratively with the source jars in a bit. But for now, this should be fine. So basically, if we put the source jar on the roof there like that, this will get all of the source, and then we can use relays to send this around the room. Sounds pretty cool. And these things can travel 30 blocks. Then we're going to want a relay embedded in the floor like this, and configure this to send source to the next jar in the chain. So we get the Dominion wand, jump and right click, position set, then right click on the relay. And the relay is set to take from this jar. Now we'll go down one floor below. Put some planks in place, put the jar there, and now again, this relay is going to send to this jar. And like this, you can daisy chain source around your compound. Now remember that 30 blocks is quite the range. We could use 2 relays to get things all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom. But because we want every single floor to have something magical going on, we're going to need source on every single floor. So Dominion Wand, right-click on the relay, and then right-click on this jar, and it will deposit things down here. Okay, so now we have some kind of source capacity set up. Let's get to planting some crops. It doesn't have to be source berries that you use as the crop with the agronomic sourcelink, but they work really well, and it makes sense, right? Because they're an Ars Nouveau berry, and yeah, it's an Ars Nouveau power system, so it is kind of designed to work with source berries. But yeah, you can use any single crop that you want, I think at least. But it won't work with crops that are grown in botany hopper pots. So let's start putting these down. Now I know what you're thinking, right? Crops grow, but we have to gather them. What are we going to do with all of these source berries? And that's where magical creatures come in to assist us in our mage tower. So there is a creature we can catch called the Starbuncle. What the Starbuncle will do is gather items from one area and put them into a chest or another place. So the system we've got planned is to catch a Starbuncle, get them to pick up all the berries that grow on these bushes, then deposit them on a pedestal in the middle. Then we're going to have a sourcelink that devours the berries and turns them into source. And there's going to be so many source berries grown here that it's going to create all the source we're ever really going to need. The only limit is basically how quickly the mage berries or the source berries grow. And what we can do is we can even augment that. With lily pads of fertility, we can speed up the growth of crops. What we could also do is replace this farmland here, this dirt farmland, with some mystical agriculture farmland. At the moment we're using dirt, but if we can get some like level 5 mystical agriculture farmland, we can make them grow even quicker. Then combine that with a growth accelerator, like one of these. Supremium Growth Accelerator grows the plants above it faster with a range of 60 blocks. So yeah, with those 2 things augmenting our setup over here, it's going to be nuts. We're going to create an insane amount of source. Now already you can see as these crops are growing, these light beams are getting shot over towards the sourcelink. That's amazing. And it's depositing them down to this jar, which is then sending it all the way down to the other jar down below. Let's take a look down here. Oh yeah, there we go, 18% full already. So this is a really potent mix. So what we need to do now is make sure we have power going to every single floor in the tower. To do that, we're going to need loads more source gems, and that means, for the moment, loads more lapis. Next episode, we're going to be looking into magical creatures. We're going to see if we can tame all of the amazing wildlife that Ars Nouveau adds. But for now, we're going to go and mine a bit for some lapis. Okay, here we go, the hunt for lapis. Now, touch dig being spammable now is super good for us. Yeah, and now I'm looking for it. I can see the blue lapis good stuff everywhere, but oh no, what's this? Oh, it's harmful, that's why. Yeah, grab that good stuff. Lapis for days. Days and days and days and days. So one thing that's important to remember is your base touch dig spell, it can actually dig diamonds. This operates at an iron pick level. But if you want to get things better than diamonds, like obsidian for example, you're going to need to use a different glyph. The glyph you're going to need to use is this glyph right here, Amplify, and we need to use a diamond pickaxe in the scribe's table to make that. It's a very important glyph, so I reckon it's what I'm going to be doing with these diamonds that I've gathered. I've only got 1 for now, but I'm sure we'll find some more. But also sometimes that lapis is just a little bit out of reach, and while I could just nerd pole up there, why not make another spell? Number 10, this is going to be projectile dig. It's going to be projectile dig, or projectile break. Now of course, it being projectile means it's going to take more mana, so it's not quite as spammable as touch dig, but it's still very, very, very good. Oh yeah, amazing, the power of magic. Let's get that redstone, even though it's really far away. Oh, so good. And this is probably the best way of mining the tops of caves. Suddenly, all that ore that you kind of ignore before is accessible. Oh yeah, falls straight into our laps. Yeah, look at this, gathering from the rooftops. So good. Magic, who knew? So there we go, that is, oh my god, 1, 2, 3, almost 4 stacks of lapis. Pretty freaking amazing. Are there any more rooftop diamonds on things that we can gather while we're down here? Can we be sneaky? I'm even going to ignore the gold because we've got so much gold going on. Oh yeah, look at this. Rooftop diamonds are within our reach now. Yes, and that gives me 3 diamonds, which is enough for the amplified glyph. The amplified glyph doesn't just work with touch dig or touch break, by the way. It works with harm ball, it works with everything. It makes everything more powerful. It also makes everything more expensive to cast. But you know what? Sometimes that's just the way things go. So here we go, back in the tower. Now, like I said before, this is a very slow process. Putting lapis in here takes forever for these imbuement chambers to turn them into source gems. Look at this progress. It's terrible. There's a way we can augment this, and that's by giving it source. So we're going to spend 3 of these jars that we have over here, and what this should do is power these 12 imbuement chambers. Now, of course, that also means we have to get the source down to this floor anyway. So I'm going to create some more source gems and get some more relays and jars into position. There we go. Now there's one more bit of machinery we're going to need. We're going to want a way to get the source that's filling up this jar into all 3 of these source jars. And that's why we're going to change one of these relays into a splitter. So here we go. We need 4 lapis in the source relay and then 4 nether quartz. And that's why it's really lucky now that I did actually bring over this nether quartz essence. That's going to come in really handy. So it's used to make, of course, nether quartz. So we'll make 12 of that. So it's 4 and 4, quartz and lapis. One, 2, 3, 4. Then the relay in the middle, and this will create us a splitter. Oh yeah, good stuff. So we'll grab this out of the thing. We now have a splitter. And we'll put this in position underneath the relay at the top. Now we're going to shuffle some of these things around because I like the idea of there being at least one gap between all of these machines so you can see the source flowing through them. So there, the splitter, one more plank, and then the jar. Wait, no, I think maybe the jar will look quite good rested on top of... Yeah, there we go. And now this jar can also power this enchanting apparatus. That's going to give us access to loads more crafts. So Dominion Wand at the ready sends to the splitter. Now, with the splitter, you can right-click here and send it to the jar. Right-click here and send it to this jar over here. But we're going to need loads of source to fill up these imbuement chambers. So 3 jars is going to be plenty. Oh man, yeah, so legit amazing. Every single floor now has source going to it. And that's pretty good news. But before we stop this episode, I'm going to go and see if I can get myself a mycelial sourcelink as well. We're going to have to go and grab some mushrooms from somewhere. But oh man, the hunt for mushrooms, that could be a tricky find. So mushroom stew, where are we going to get that from? So you basically need to use any mushroom. Ah, this can also be Botania mushrooms with a bowl. And I think I saw some Botania mushrooms down in that cave. So let's go spelunking for some mushrooms. So we're looking for those mushrooms. I swear I saw some around here. Yeah, here we go. 1 mushroom, light grey shimmering, but that should be okay. Let's continue the hunt. So Botania mushrooms. Oh, hello, what are you? Are you a mushroom? Yeah, a mushroom, perfect. There we go. This is what we're looking for. Oh, who are you? So the mycelial sourcelink. We should have everything we need except the mushroom stew. I'll use some wood to make a bowl. Then combine this with the mushrooms that we have. And there we go, a mushroom stew. Put this in the middle. Get the mycelial sourcelink. And boom, there we go. Now, much like a person, the mycelial sourcelink needs a plate. And the plate is going to come in the form of an arcane pedestal. So we'll make one of those as well. There we go, that's everything we need. Let's get to the top floor. Aha, yeah, and as you can see, all of these source berries have already grown, which means we're not actually generating any sourcelink once they're all completely grown. There's a couple here lagging behind, but once all of these are grown, there's no more growth happening, so we don't get any more sourcelinks. That's why it's very important to have this mycelial sourcelink that devours the source berries. So we'll put this right next to the sourcelink over here. We'll give them a plate in the form of the arcane pedestal, like that. And what we can basically do is just right-click on these berries, gather them up. Now they're a bit prickly, so you've got to be careful. Then put the source berry on the pedestal, and it's nearby to the mycelial sourcelink. It will then devour it, turn it into mana, and send it to the nearby pot. There we go, you saw that beam? And you can keep doing this. Now, we can't spend all day up here gathering source berries and feeding them to this machine. We're wizards, we have important things to be about, and that is why we're going to be taming Starbuncles and getting them to use these plates, deposit these berries onto these pedestals that we're going to put around here to support this whole system, and that means the berries will grow, they'll get picked, then they'll regrow, create source for the agronomic sourcelink, and the whole system works. Now, it's not the only way we can generate source. We can also use one of the sourcelinks, the volcanic sourcelink, to generate source as well. Once you've crafted one of these, what it does is, much in the same way the mycelial one devours things on an arcane pedestal that are food, the volcanic one will devour things like a furnace. So anything that has a burn timer, it can use to generate source as well. So we could set up some simple botany pots upstairs as well, generating some trees, and have some more starbuncles depositing logs on a pedestal for the volcanic one to eat. It all works, it's all pretty simple. Now also, before we call it there, I'm going to grab some lapis from my pack and show you how much quicker these source gems get created when they have a full source jar full of mana nearby. Yeah, so check it out. Now that we can just spam this in, look at the crafting progress go. Yeah, 40, 80, 100, boom. That's a much quicker way of generating source gems. And this splitter now is, oh my god, oh no, Gen Snowman by a wraith. Wraiths are a real problem. Oh, there he is over there. Oh man, he's on a killing spree. Jesus, I think we've lost like 20 different colonists now. This is crazy. So a massive thank you for watching this episode of Enchant the World. This episode we covered completely source generation, and every single one of our floors now in the tower has source. The next step in Ars Nouveau is going to be taming some magical creatures, but also I think I've decided to ditch the Caledonian style. There is another style that you might have seen in the intro called Fairy Tale, and that style for Minecolonies works with the Twilight Forest, so we'll definitely be checking that out because I think that's going to complement our magical playstyle much better than Caledonian. So between now and then, I'm going to replace this builder's hut with a Fairy Tale one and get started on the town hall from the Fairy Tale style. A massive thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Keep the comments coming in because I love reading them, and they're a really great source for advice for me. While you guys at home might be learning a thing or two about what I'm doing, your guys' comments are really helpful to teach me what I'm doing as well. Anyway, a massive thank you, and until next time, take care.